Hey, what's up? How y'all doing today? J.Lee The Producer, Three Flames. Today what we're going to be doing is talking about exporting stems, the export stems feature in Studio 1.7. Okay, it's twofold why I'm doing this tutorial today. The first reason is just to help all of those Studio One users out there who are wanting to send their files to a mixing engineer or another producer or another artist, whatever, where you have those separated by track individually. So each instrument, each vocal on its own track is separated for the length, however long you want the length to be within that session. You can send each individual track as a WAV file separated so that the mixing engineer can mix it, so that maybe a producer can format the entire song and arrange the entire song. But you can't do that with a 2-track where all of the instruments are just, one WAV file, okay? And so being able to have these stems separated on a track, each individual instrument, each individual vocal. Today, I'm just doing vocals. The second reason I'm doing this is for artists that I work with, so that there's a video that I could just send them a link that they can go to and learn how to do it quickly. And so that's what we're doing right now. So let's just dive into it. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you actually what the actual export stems window looks like. And so you want to come over here to song, click on song, and go to export stems, or as you can see, for me, it's Control-Alt-E. Okay, so export stems, I click that. Right here, it pulls up this window. Over here, you have all of the tracks that are within this session, and you can choose which ones you want to export a stem of. For me, I'm only going to export the instruments that I'm using from this this session, okay? And so those are the ones that I have checked, okay? Now, I want to make sure we understand within the session, it will not export the stems with any effects processing on it if it's on the if it's a plug-in on the track, okay? If you process it directly onto the WAV file, then it'll export it. Or actually, what am I trying to say? If you process it directly to the file within the session, so if I click on this and I process an effect directly onto that specific event, then it'll export that. But if it's just, on, let me choose one that has an effect on it, like this right here. It has the SSL EQ on it. Like if I export this stem on this specific track, it will not process that effect on it, okay? So let's go to export stems. We can see right here, I have all of the ones selected. You just make sure that it's checked, the ones that you want to export. You can do it by channel. You can do it by tracks, okay? Now, I don't know what the difference in those are. I think channels, I can't remember. Anyway, I always keep it on channels. I'll never go to tracks. Let me think for a second. Oh, I see why. Yeah, so channels is just going to give you the option of the buses, the main, things like that, the instrument tracks, or you can just go to tracks and not have any of the buses or main out. So I just typically just keep it on. That's just a way to, if you have a large session, if you click on tracks, it'll just give you what you actually have. So anyway, either one, it doesn't matter. Over here, you're going to tell it where you want to send it. What location do you want to send it to? Me personally, I'm going to send it to my desktop just for all intents and purposes for this. The prefix file name, okay? Whatever the name of the track is that you're working on will probably be with there. On this one, you can publish it in these different platforms right here. I'm not doing that. I'm not publishing anything. You can choose what format you want to export these in. Okay, WAV file is going to be your best one if you're sending it to someone. Now, granted, it's going to be the largest file format. If you want to send it in AIFF, You know, if they're working in a different DAW, it'll allow you to, it's just a timing thing and how it works. But anyway, the easiest thing is just to keep it on wave. Okay. Keep it on wave. Don't do it on MP3 like you would want to. Keep it on wave file, because on wave file, it's going to give you the highest quality, and it's going to be easy to for them to pull it into their session. Okay. Now, resolution, whatever you want. I typically stay with 24-bit and the separator 48. Every now and again, I'll go up to 96 on this, but for now, I'll just have it at 48. Okay. Now, export range. You have a few different options here. You can go between the loop. I'll explain that in a second. You can go between song end and start markers. I typically don't use end start and end markers. You can go between each marker and just do that. Or you can do between selected markers, start to end. Or if I had more in my session, I could choose that. Overlap, that's on the end. Do you want a tail end on that? Okay. And so, you know, if you're doing just a short section, or if you're doing the end of a section, it primarily helps to do this if you're processing effects and you have like a tail on the end of like a delay tail on the end of something at the end of a song, for instance, and you want to make sure that if you're processing that effect within the stems, you want to make sure that that carries out and not just cut off at the end. Okay. And so options, you can do split mono, you can keep speaker format, use real-time processing, which, you know, some people say, you know, it's higher quality. I don't know. I've always done, you know, as fast as I can get it done, just for the sake of time. You want to write the tempo to audio files. Write the tempo to the audio files so that they know what tempo it is and they ain't trying to, you know, figure out the tempo. The good ones will do it quickly. I get it done pretty quick when people send it to me, but nevertheless, it's always easier just to be able to have that tempo. You can import to the tracks once you've got the stems, and then close after export, which is what I'm going to do. Before I do that, let me show you when we talk about export range, I always use between loop. Okay. And this is why. So at the top here, I can set my loop anywhere that I want to set it. Okay. I can set my loop like this. Now, granted, if I was to do it with the markers, I could do the same thing. I can add more markers and just do it between certain markers. But for me, I hardly ever do that. I'm typically sending the entire arrangement. And so I'll select my loop range, right, to the end of the song. Typically, I'll try to give it a little bit more like this. I know on the export, it allows you to do an overlap for 1 second, but I don't do that. I typically just add, you know, extra 4 bars at the end. Okay, so now I have all of that set up. Everything's good. I got it going to my desktop. I just hit OK, and it's going to bounce down each one of those tracks to a separate file within one folder for the length of what I selected up here. Okay. And so right here, you see this is the folder that it put everything in. Okay. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm actually going to hide all of these tracks right here. Let me put them in a folder real quick so I know how to easily access them. Where am I at here? I'm so lost right now. I'm going to add folder track, and I'm just going to add all of these into there. Okay. So got those out the way. Now, if I look over here, got all of these tracks right here, all of them right here. Okay. What I'm going to do is, oh, it didn't put them in a folder. That's horrible. Okay. So you would have to create a folder if you ever want to do this. But anyway, let me do that real quick. Just going to name it what I had there, Sunrise Mercy, because every every morning. His mercies are new. Sunrise mercy. It's good to realize that. Okay. And so I'm going to take all of these sunrise mercies. I'm just going to put it in this folder. So imagine if when we bounce this, we bounced it to a direct folder. Okay. That's what I just did. Okay. So here's that folder. I open that folder. Now I send this folder to whoever. I send it to a producer. I send it to a mixing engineer or whatever. They get this folder. They open this folder. All they have to do is grab all of these and just drag them into their session. Okay. Now they have all of these instruments. As you can see, they have all of these instruments. Turn these up so you can see those WAV files a little better. And it's all arranged the way that you have it arranged, right? From this first track, and it's labeled. It has the actual name of the instrument, ambient pad, arpeggiator, bass, brass section, so on and so forth. And it's arranged. And they can come in and they can remove certain parts like so, or they can keep the same arrangement and just mix it. Okay. Don't that feel like sunrise mercies? It do, don't it? You get up in the morning, take that deep breath of air in, see the beautiful sky, and you're like, man, the Lord created all of this. Glory to God. Thank you for allowing me to see another day. Thank you, Lord. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Nevertheless, like, subscribe, comment for more content, man. I'm going to keep doing this, all right? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. See y'all next go round.